How will your grades be determined? How will you determine if you're doing well or poorly in the class? The grade, to a very large extent, will be determined by your midterm exam and your final exam. Probably about equally weighted. I usually put a little bit more weight on the final exam because if in philosophy you may not really understand the subject, how to proceed. So the assumption is that if you're doing better on the final, you've learned something in the course of the semester, and I'm going to give you credit for that. Now, in addition to which, in order for you to do well on the midterm and the final, you really need to do the work. That is, you need to prepare assignments, or do the reading first of all. There might be some quizzes, some assignments. There are going to be some discussions that you need to do on Blackboard. So those are things that you really need to do. I'm going to conclude my remarks talking a little bit about course requirements and class ground rules. I used to make a big deal about it. Actually, the longer I'm teaching at Kingsborough, the less I'm emphasizing these. But I think it does have something very important to tell you about what you should be doing in school and how you should be engaged in the process. And I'd like you to take a look at a video, YouTube, which will give you an idea of what a class looks like, especially from the instructor's perspective, where students really are totally and completely disengaged.
In 1930, the Republican-controlled House of Representatives, in an effort to alleviate the effects of the, anyone? The Great Depression, passed the, anyone? A tariff bill, the Hawley-Smoot Tariff Act, which anyone raised or lowered? Raised tariffs in an effort to collect more revenue for the federal government. Did it work? Anyone? Anyone know the effects? It did not work, and the United States sank deeper into the Great Depression. Today, we have a similar debate over this. Anyone know what this is, class? Anyone? Anyone? Anyone seen this before? The Laffer curve. Anyone know what this says? It says that at this point on the revenue curve, you will get exactly the same amount of revenue as at this point. This is very controversial. Does anyone know what Vice President Bush called this in 1980? Anyone? Something DOO economics. Voodoo economics.
Now, you can see how engaged those students were in that very enlightening course. And maybe you gotta think the guy was a little bit boring. Maybe you think the subject's boring. But the point is that the only way to really learn anything is to get engaged, see what's going on, not try to sit there with your eyes open. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff online to help engage you in the course. Play the game with us. Play the game with me. I'm going to need your comments. I'm going to need your participation. And, by the way, if there are things that you're finding difficult or finding just not interesting, at least let me know. Let's see, maybe there's some way we could do it to make it more engaging for you, more interesting for you. And because ultimately the goal is to get you involved in the course, get you to learn things, get you the skills that you need to get better jobs. And finally, the last one was a clip from the movie, kind of a humorous movie, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And let me go back to a place where I started in terms of apologizing about my lack of facility with names. And let me just explain that when we meet in class, I am going to be taking attendance, and maybe even once at the beginning and once at the end of the class, just so I get to learn your names. And just remember, it's a school requirement. So this is
Adams,
what it's going to
here.
look like.
Adamley,
Here.
Adamowski, Adamson,
Here.
Adler,
Here.
Anderson. Anderson.
Here.
Bueller. 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 Bueller.
He's sick.
Well, my apologies for mispronouncing your names. Please correct me. I've had students that finally at the end of the semester say, I didn't want to be called this, I wanted to be called this. Well, I can't read your mind. If you send it to me online, that's okay. Tell me in class. And I'm looking forward to meeting you, and I'm looking forward to having a very successful semester.